the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Busy hour lined up here. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard's replacement, Mike Palm. Paulie is on vacation today. We are going to do college basketball. Mike's going to share a story of something that happened here at Circa earlier this week, I believe is what you said before the break.
Yes.
Nick Alberga on the NHL card coming up tomorrow, his reaction to the Four Nations title game last night. And here, more college basketball with VSiN contributor, college basketball handicapper Aaron Moore, and he is also a part of the Circa College Hoops Challenge, which is every single Friday night with Matt Ewens and Jonathan Von Tobel. He was 4-1 last week. Aaron, great start as he joins us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Thank you for jumping on the show today. How are you?
I appreciate it, Mitch, and it's good to be on with Mike Palm, who is the Robert Ory of VSiN. He can just jump around from team to team, and he just has contributions at a championship level. So it's good to be with him also.
That's pretty strong. Is that okay?
What door you have? 7 rings?
7 rings, yeah.
I have 5 Mitchies. So
yeah, you have 5 Mitchies so far. You're catching them.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Well, if they ever come back.
Well, right. So let's begin, before we get into a couple of picks that you like on the card, let's begin with some of these teams that could be on the 8-9 line. And if you think they could be dangerous when they would play, in the second round of the tournament against some of these 1 seeds.
Yeah, Mitch, I think it's one of the most interesting things to look at the tournament a couple weeks out, that here we are talking about all the great SEC teams. Probably 3 of them are going to be number 1 seeds. You have such short favorites in Auburn and Duke in that 3 to 4 to 1 range. They're getting all the conversation. But what else is happening in college sports are these mega conference, Power 4 conferences that are going to get 7, 8, 10, maybe 11, 13 teams. Well, what's going to happen is there's going to be a trickle-down effect, and those teams that are really good are going to be on the 8-9 line. I think it's going to be different than previous tournaments. So if we look at the number 1 seeds and we like them as good as they are right now, just think about what happens in that second round when you have 8-9 games. Whoever wins that 8-9 game is going up against the number 1 seed. And if you just look at some of these 8-9 seeds, Oregon, Creighton, UConn, Baylor, New Mexico, Gonzaga, Utah State, Nebraska, you're telling me one of those teams can't knock off one of the top 4 teams? So I think that's going to be one of the more interesting handicapping angles going into the tournament, is that second round for these for these number 1 seeds.
So is that something that you would look at right now, maybe to grab like a Final Four number on some of those teams that would land on the 8-9 line? Or would you just wait until the bracket comes out, go with the draw, and then bet them to maybe win a region?
Yeah, I think that this would be a situation where you want the seeding to come out, because I'll give you a team like New Mexico, one of the fastest teams in the country. They have a great scorer in Donovan Dent. They have Nelly Jr. Joseph in the middle, one of those tweener-type players. That is a team that clearly could pull off an upset, get a couple wins early on in the tournament. And if you got a Final Four ticket on them, and we talk about tickets being monetized, they get to that Elite 8. That would be a great situation for a team like New Mexico that really has that type of odd style. We want the team that plays really fast or really slow that can pull off an upset. And I really like the profile of New Mexico.
Professor Moore in Philadelphia tonight. We've got Villanova hosting Marquette at Wells Fargo. What are your thoughts on how you're going to attack this game?
This is interesting, Mike. I know you were talking to Chris Massaro earlier, where he was a little hesitant of these bounce-back games. I want to bet against Villanova after what happened against UConn, blowing that lead. The game is going to be at the Wells Fargo Center against Marquette. It's going to be a sellout. But I am telling you, Mike, these Villanova fans are very upset at the current state of the team. They are very disappointed in head coach Kyle Neptune. He's clearly on the way out after this season. So I want to take Marquette here. I want to lay the 1.5. But as Chris was saying earlier, these bounce back games, these games where you expect teams to play well and then play poorly or vice versa. They really have been difficult to handicap this year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this game in game. I'm going to see what type of start Villanova gets off to. If it's a slow start, I think you're going to hear the fans going very negative against Villanova. I think it could turn quickly. So I'm leaning Marquette, but with that 1.5 line right now, I'm going to do that one in game. I think you watch the first 5 minutes of this game, Mike. It's going to tell you what the temperature of Villanova is.
Who would be on your wish list to replace Kyle Neptune there as the next head coach of Villanova?
Yeah, I'll give you a name, Mitch. How about Ryan Odom and what he's doing? Obviously, he had the big win at UMBC, goes to Utah State at VCU. I think he would be the perfect guy to come into Villanova. And you have to think about what Villanova can do with that championship pedigree. They have a lot of money. It is a basketball school. I think they are going to shoot for the moon. Kyle Neptune came as a result of Jay Wright leaving. The next Villanova coach, I think, is going to have a lot of wins on his resume, a lot of marquee aspects to him. So I think Odom would be a good candidate for Villanova.
Very good. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Aaron Moore. You can follow him on X at PubRelationProf. He's a VSiN contributor, college basketball handicapper as well, and he's on the Progressive Guest Line. I'm staring right now at two different books with the Wooden Award numbers, and full disclosure here, I have Broome to win it at plus 550. So I'm telling you, I don't understand the number. How is Cooper Flagg like minus 230 to win this right now? It's the worst ACC of anybody's lifetime, and the SEC might be the best conference we've ever had, and he's the best player on, by far, the best team in the country.
I keep banging my head against the wall, wondering this, Mitch, if this is the greatest college basketball conference season ever, what the SEC is doing. Johni Broome, what a great start he had leading Auburn to all those wins early on. And then when he hurt his ankle and Cooper Flagg became a minus 500 favorite, you're like, okay, well, this is going to be Flagg's award. They're going to give it to the big freshman. But Broome came back only after missing a couple games. He's averaging a double-double. If you look at what he did last game, it wasn't a great game. He still had 16 points and 13 rebounds.
Yep.
I wonder what the books are doing. I don't know, Mitch, if it aligns with what the voters are thinking. So we have about 2 weeks left. And what I was talking about earlier with Matt Humans is this Duke-Illinois game was going to be a very big game for Cooper Flagg, having this Madison Square Garden environment. Duke is going to get a lot of attention. Well, Illinois, everybody's injured or sick, so it's not the same. This game doesn't have the same degree of difficulty. So you have Flagg playing in a very weak ACC. This is not James Worthy ACC. This is a pretty diluted ACC. So I think when you have the voters ultimately look at what Broome does, averaging a double-double, and I think ultimately he gets that award. And if you look at these books, it's like plus 160. I've seen as high as plus 180. That if you're going to bet college basketball, you're going to take a game and you're going to put one unit on a game. I would rather bet Broome at that number, and I think you have a better opportunity to win that than a plus 180 underdog in just a single game.
Professor Moore, you teach at Rider in the Metro Athletic Conference, and I think you have your eye on another game in that conference tonight at Hummel Court, Merrimack. I believe they're hosting the Monitor. What are your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, this is an interesting one, Mike. I took the under here. I got 143.5. I gladly took the under. It's moved against me. It's at it's at 146.5 right now. I definitely like the under in this game. You have Merrimack, which is absolutely one of the slowest paced teams in all of the country. Their possessions average on defense about 19 seconds. So they really slow it down. They're playing Sacred Heart, who likes to play fast, has a good offense. So this is going to be me taking an under where you've got slow versus fast. I like slow at home in this situation. And these two teams played earlier in January. It was a 66-65 game. So when I took that 143.5, I thought that was a really good number. Obviously, I like the under. If it's up now at 146.5, I think obviously that's a good number to take the under.
All right, very good. One more pick here from Aaron Moore, and you're going to get more from him tonight and into the games tomorrow in the Circa College Hoops Challenge. Your picks are going to be out with Matt Humans and Jonathan Von Tobel later on here, and then also on vsin.com. What do you want to do with Loyola Chicago as they take on Dayton?
Yeah, this one I like a lot as well. And just going A10 in this situation, Mitch, I've got Loyola plus 2.5. They're at home. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. Loyola's been a little bit disappointing in the A10, but the problems for them have been on the road. So you get them at home against the Dayton team, which is not the same team on the road. So that 2.5, I'm really happy with that one with Loyola. I think they win the game outright, but if I could take those points, I'm going to take it there.
Very good. Nice start last week, 4-1, the first week of the challenge. Keep it going tonight, okay, pal?
Yep. Well, you got to keep it going in this tournament because there's a lot of great handicappers in it.
Yeah, no doubt. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Good
you,
luck
Professor.
There you go. Aaron Moore on the Progressive Guest Line.
4-1, he's staring up at David Deneen.
Oh, David Deneen, very good.
5-0 right off the bat,
week.
defending champ.
Yeah. David is a former D1 basketball player, and for years he would send out, very beginning of November, he would have the most inside information about a matchup for a game, right? Like, hey, these 3 players aren't playing. It's not being reported yet. And they just played in a scrimmage and they got buried by whatever team, right? For a year, he would send out 3 plays to a bunch of us. For so long, it was nails, 2-1 minimum, if not 3-0, every single time.
Awesome.
Yeah. It was really, really good. That was fun to be a part of.
Chuck Edel's pretty good with the info, too.
Chuck Edel, very good. Yeah, we'll continue rolling along with more college. And I got to get the story out of Mike Palm.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Mitch Moss along with Mike Palm here on a Friday. You said this 25 minutes ago now. Great tease. A wild story that took place here with you earlier in the week. What is it?
It's very interesting because I was coming out of the studio right after I was here on VSiN by the Book with Dave Ross and Jensen Lewis.
Right.
And I actually bumped up. I'm usually on at 6:15 and 6:30, but they had a very special guest that could only come on at 6:30, so they moved me up, Kelly Bidlin. Anyhow, I moved up. I came in a little earlier. So I'm walking out of the studio at 6:27, and this gentleman comes up. He says, Mike Palm, do you have 2 minutes for a story? So he had a Yankees T-shirt on.
From New York?
He had a New York accent.
Okay.
Yankees T-shirt on and jeans, and he was probably late 50s, early 60s.
All right.
He said, I'm here because I finished 9th place in your contest this year.
Very nice.
In the millions. Won $100,000. I said, oh, that's awesome. You weren't able to make it, when we did the awards. He said, no, I wasn't able to, but I came out this weekend. He said, I never played in your contest before. I've only ever entered one football contest, and it was Westgate in 2019. And I was going to come back the next year, and then there was a pandemic.
Yeah.
I didn't come, and then I didn't come. He said, I've been a janitor at a public school for 32 years. I tried to save $100 a week so I could get in the contest.
Get out of here.
Swear to God.
Oh, wow. I love this story already.
He said, because it just doesn't cost $1,000 because you have to fly, you have to get your hotel, you have to pay the proxy. So it's like $2,000.
Right.
So I saved and I got enough and I came out. He said, now the contest is very hard. I said, I can't pick 2 games against the spread. 5 is tough for me. He goes, he said, I'm very good picking 3 games each week.
3, okay.
I'm very confident in 3 picks per week.
He can isolate that many okay, all right.
The 4th becomes more challenging. The 5th is almost impossible. He said, but I tried a system this year, and I've been waiting 6 years. I tried a system, and you'll appreciate this. He said, I followed Todd Wishnev. You knew Todd Wishnev, who was on with Gil, and I still talk to Todd, text him probably once a month. He said, and I just watched, and the game that he liked the best, the very most each week, that was my 5th pick. I went opposite. He said, I went 10-2 that way. I'm not making it up. I mean, the story about the janitor and saving $100, but I did want to tell the whole story for context. I don't believe the guy's lying.
You're going to get a text from Todd Wish.
No shot. He's listening to follow the money.
But this will get to him. You're going to get a text from him by the end of the show.
You want to bet on it? You want double or nothing on the JVT beer? They had the 9% beer last night, and they had the Labatt Blue. And they were going back and forth drinking the Canadian beers. And Mitch bet me that if they substituted the 9% beer and switched mugs with Adam Burke, the JVT wouldn't notice coming back. Right away, picked up. What is this?
I thought you guys were absolutely pulling a prank on me.
No, and then you said, you texted him. I didn't text him. He had 2 beers. You think he couldn't tell the difference?
I firmly believe that shenanigans took place.
No. Check my phone. I wish Bill 80 would check everybody's phone. Check my phone.
Why would you want him to check everybody's phone?
Well, we'd find out, some sources. Okay. But anyhow.
That's it. So in his late 50s, you give or take, a janitor at the same high school, he said?
He said at school. It could have been. Public school in New York.
Yeah, okay.
PS whatever. That's what they call them, right? In the New York PS 1972 or whatever they are. Okay. They'll have a number.
Sure. So he saved up $100 a week.
I tried, he said, to save $100 a week so I could get in the contest.
And he only got 1 entry, obviously.
1 entry.
Didn't do Survivor.
No Survivor.
Did this one.
9th.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Good for him.
$100,000.
That's great.
I should have asked him, are you going to retire? I didn't. And he was going to have dinner. He was going to go have dinner and then pick up his winnings.
And then get out of here?
Yeah. He should send Wishnev something, maybe.
Oh, yeah, maybe, I guess, huh?
He's still in Pittsburgh, Wishnev. He left during pandemic and went back. He's been there since? Went back home. It was like the census time. Everybody went back home.
Well, it sounds like you two are chummy still.
He's a nice guy.
I didn't say he's not.
He tried to start a service last year. I believe it was last year, maybe 2 years ago. I saw him at the South Point. He was in town visiting. Because he's very good at college basketball in-game totals. He has this whole way of playing in-game totals. So he's this service where people would pay $100, but it lasted like a month because he couldn't get the number. In the end game, he would text the people to play. It's gone in basketball. I mean, my God, there's 4 possessions by the time somebody... It didn't fail miserably. He returned all the money.
Well, that's unfortunate that it failed miserably.
It's all good, Mitch.
Okay.
You should have Ron Coulter. Ron Coulter. No, this wasn't a text. It was just
he didn't send you a text yet?
No, but maybe somebody would get to him that's listening.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
His number and said,
boy, you vehemently shot down the idea of him listening to the show.
No, I don't think so.
No,
I don't. No, there's loyalty there from him.
What he dislikes? He dislikes me or Paulie?
I don't think so. Okay. I don't think so.
I only met that guy one time in my life, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know when I met him? I met him the night there were the 2 Game 7s in the first round of the Stanley Cup. We're at the South Point, and it was still the Knights got screwed on the major penalty and blew a 3-0 lead. The earlier game was Boston and Toronto, and there was like a goal with no time left, and nobody knew if it counted. It messed the total. And he and I are at the South Point. Different news services are reporting different scores. Did it count? They did a handshake. If they did a handshake after the goal, there has to be time. They should have dropped the puck. And we're trying to figure out what happened. That's the night I met Todd Wishnev.
All right, so that's stuck with you, obviously, for several years now.
Yeah.
By the way, we have a new favorite, I believe, here in a college basketball game for tomorrow. Tennessee opened up 2.5 at Texas A&M.
You and Professor drove it the other way.
Well, I haven't even bet it yet, but I guess...
Well, but people heard you.
Sure, yeah. And we move markets around here by talking about stuff.
They want to ride the heater you're on.
So they opened up 2.5 at FanDuel, and I'm seeing A&M right now. Price is a 1.5-point favorite.
Pick some places.
Pick at Circa.
Odds via that Circa Sports.
Okay.
Pick them.
Books are, I guess, moving rapidly here with the game.
Must be big injury news. Can't be off of you. You saying anything?
Well, clearly it's not.
We go the other way. Tennessee before. Right, people were listening.
5.5 probably at this point.
We're going to take the advice of a self-excluded guy. You are going to play the game. Are you still going to play the game at a pick?
No, I'm not.
Now you're off of it.
No,
now
I can't get involved in the game.
You can do a 20-hour ban and play a later game.
I'll do 11 o'clock and send that game tomorrow. Houston is jacked up all over. There's an 8.5 out there, a 9.5 out there.
They're going to get so high, I'm going to have to take Iowa State on this game.
Are you going to wait for 10?
I would take 10. That kid is such a good coach. UNLV lets them all get away. They let every single one of them get away.
I don't think they could have done anything to hold him.
No?
I think he was going there no matter what. Even if they would have been able to match money, I don't
What
think.
about Beard? They let Beard get away too.
Well, I don't even want to go down that road again. That was Bama is now up to 9.5 against Kentucky. That was 7.5. I think it was minus 120 on that number.
Total movement at all? So 177.5.
I'll check that in a minute here. I got to get the screen. I got to go back, and then it's not on the one I'm on right now, and then you got to toggle through this and do that, and then you can't look at the spread in the. It's what now?
Up a
so
point
it has moved
from whenever this was published.
So you still want to play that though, yeah?
I like it over.
Okay. Your Duke Blue Devils tomorrow, 10.5.
Yeah, Illinois is sick. They're sick. Even before they got sick, they were struggling.
Mm-hmm.
This is another cream puff spot for Duke, just like against Carolina. I think they'll just crush. They covered that big number at Virginia on Monday.
You know what the biggest talking point is going to be on Selection Sunday about Duke is going to be whether or not they're battle-tested enough to make a run because the ACC was so weak this year. That's my prediction. That will be the number one, if it's not already out there. It could be, I don't know.
I think it's interesting where they get seated overall, in the overall tournament.
Yeah.
Right?
And I totally agree with Aaron Moore. Yes, I'm biased. I have Broom in pocket at plus 550 to win the award. How is Flag minus 230 right now? How?
I said to JVT, I would bet Broom at plus 140 or 150
Absolutely.
right now.
Yeah, if I didn't
when you go through the competition that they play night in and night out.
Yes.
And he's got a very versatile game. I watch him play. He can do it all.
He does everything for them. And the SEC is stacked, and they just have great win after great win. And the ACC is not even a Power 5 conference this year. It's so bad.
Oh, it's bad. SMU is 11 and 4 in the league, and they don't have a quad 1 win.
Oh, think about that for a second.
They're 0-1 against the top 25 and no quad 1 win.
That's impossible.
It's impossible.
Oh, God. Arkansas is catching 1.5 at home against Missouri.
Calipari's last stand here.
He's going to have
How much work do they need to do to get in the tournament?
They're going to... I mean, it sounds great, right? Last 4 in, but how long does that last if they keep losing games? And then your St. Mary Gales plus 5.5 against Gonzaga.
Oh, 5.5
went
now.
up. Oh. It went up. So sports betting never slows down. Neither should you. Got the NBA and the NHL in full swing. PGA Tour is underway. March Madness coming up in a couple of weeks. MLB opening day right around the corner. Action never stops. Start betting smarter with a VSiN Pro subscription for as little as $9.99. You're going to get a daily email with all the plays from hosts and their guests, expert analysis, deep dive stats, and exclusive insights to help you make the smartest picks. Don't place your bets unprepared. Get full access today, $9.99 at vsin.com/subscribe. Nick Alberga on the program. Next, NHL Fantasy on Ice podcast. We will get into some of the betting angles on tomorrow's huge slate after the long break in the NHL.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Welcome in. Mitch Moss along with Mike Palm in today for the vacationing Paulie Howard, who returns on Monday. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino, and we'll talk some NHL here and recap the Four Nations title game last night that went to overtime with the Canadians winning 3-2. As Nick Alberga joins the program now, you can follow him on X. He's at the Golden Muzzy, and he is with the NHL Fantasy on Ice podcast. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. Nick, thanks for the time today. How are you?
I'm feeling very golden, guys. How are you today?
Doing well. I'll run this by you because Jeff Davis is the man in charge of all the NHL numbers here at Circa. Back in November, he bought tickets for the event, hoping that it was going to be USA and Canada playing in the title game. He told me going into it, it had a chance to be the best sporting event he'll ever attend. And I asked him how it was last night, and his response was it was a 10 out of a 10. The building was absolutely electric. I'm guessing you felt the same exact way, and then the result probably didn't hurt for you?
Absolutely. It's one of those things where I look back and I have sort of like a similar story, but somebody asked me if I wanted to go to the gold medal game or the championship game in Boston like a month ago. And I was like, nah, I don't know what to expect from this tournament. And all I could do watching that game was just feel really, really bad that I missed out on such an opportunity. But I think, you hit the nail on the head. It's just like you look at this tournament, the magnitude. I do feel like it was the perfect storm with everything going on in North America as well right now. But I just think the level of hockey is something we've been craving for a long, long time. And to get it, I thought it was tremendous. And I already can't wait for next year in Italy.
Yeah, I want to ask you that. How will you rank this tournament, this Four Nation face-off with the Olympic competition. Is it level up to you, or is the Olympics at a whole nother level?
It's going to be different if you're talking on the ice because of the officiating. I think the cool aspect, guys, of this tournament was the fact that it was NHL refs, so there was fighting. At the Olympics, you can't fight. So I wonder, what kind of impact that has. On top of that, like, they call every penalty in the IIHF. It's a lot different. I think it's the one thing I really noticed in this tournament. If you were taking like power play point props, you probably weren't very successful. So I expect the game to be a bit different. Very curious again to see if Russia ends up being in this tournament. I think that was, they were missing like big time. And, obviously the World Juniors are big here in Canada and also in the States, and Russia's been missing for a while, and they're like a hockey power. So it's a lot of it's going to depend on Russia being there too.
Do you think if Russia was in this, if they had let Russia be one of the four nations, say instead of Finland, they would have been the favorites?
I still think the States would have been the favorite. It would probably be the States, Canada, Russia. I just think you look at that American roster going into the tournament, like there's a reason why they were framed as the team to beat. So that's probably the way I would do it. 1, 2, 3 there.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at some betting takeaways that we can gain from this. Now, I thought that this was a huge game for Hellebuck because he's never really won a big game. He's been so bad in the play. He played well but lost, right? Does this give him any confidence moving forward in the playoffs? Does it give any more confidence in Winnipeg in the West in the Stanley Cup playoffs?
I think to a degree. I will say, as somebody who bet the over on Connor Hellebuck's saves, I was just so disappointed. I think he had like 26 yesterday. I'm like, come on, just make like a couple more saves and we're feeling good about life today. But it's tough because that's a really good question, in the fact that it's not really being spoken about a lot in our country today. In Canada, is like in Winnipeg. Like, that's been the big story, similar to what I deal with on a daily basis here in Toronto. Like Matthews and Marner and those guys have really struggled in pressure cooker type situations. The same could be said, as you just talked about, with Hellebuck in Winnipeg. Like last year, they were tremendous, and they get to the playoffs and it's like a different team. But you can't help but like look at his body of work this season and suggest he's going to win the Vezina Trophy #1. But I think it's got to be a mental hurdle that he climbs in the playoffs, very similar to like what a Matthews deals with, what a Marner deals with. But I certainly think it gives you confidence for sure.
Yeah, I look at it. I mean, he's been the best goalie in the world the last 3 years and done nothing with it. I mean, Vasilevsky was the best goalie in the world and converted it to cups. I mean, and he just hasn't had any sort of conversion at all. I think this is an interesting prop we see every year, Canada versus USA to win the Stanley Cup. I'm looking around. Consensus is sort of Canada plus 260. You're getting Edmonton. You're getting Toronto. You're getting Vancouver. Ottawa will be in the play. Is that worth a bet that Canada will win the Cup this year at plus 260?
The odds are not in our favor, but I will say, like, there's just some sort of determination right now, guys, to Connor McDavid. They were my pick to win the Cup prior to starting the season. They were the betting favorites, so, like, I really didn't go out on a limb. But I believe in the whole, like, Crosby thing from, like, a decade or 15 years ago, where he went to the Cup final, dealt with it. It was a good experience, and comes back and wins it the next year. And I truly feel like it's a very determined Connor McDavid. I felt like it was a passing the torch type moment last night, where Crosby scores in 2010 in the Olympics. He was the best player on the planet at the time. And now McDavid does it. Like, of course it was McDavid who wins that game. And he's just the type of player, very few of them in professional sports, that can just go a long way in dictating a series specifically. And I do think we get to the playoffs and McDavid puts it in overdrive and says, like, we're not losing this time around. So I'm a believer in this country. It's a long time coming. The last time, 1993, Montreal Canadiens winning the Stanley Cup. So history suggests it'll happen at some point in time here.
Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Nick Alberga. You can follow him on X at the Golden Muzzy. He's also with the Leafs Nation as well, host there of the Leafs Morning Take. Okay, so then in terms of maybe like McDavid tomorrow and other guys who were in the game last night, this is all narrative based here, I think anyway, unless you like read clippings and listen to the coaches, right, who might say the ice time might be a little bit shorter tomorrow because they are coming off of this war and it went to overtime on Thursday night. Is there anything with maybe playing some of the player props under tomorrow who were in the game last night?
I think so, for sure. Like, I know for a fact there's a bunch of players banged up. I don't even know if they'll play, to be quite honest about it. But I think there's got to be an element of fatigue. The fact that they played on Thursday, I don't understand the extra day off and now McDavid's sake, I think it's an afternoon game. And on top of that, oh yeah, you're playing John Tortorella and the Philadelphia Flyers. I think it's going to be a very physical game. Right back at it. He's played some really meaningful hockey. These games were like game sevens. They were playoff games for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely a market I would look at. Having said that, one guy I do like to maybe look at and target tomorrow is Mitch Marner. Just because of everything I talked about earlier on, like it's just been a mental hurdle for this guy in pressure cooker situations. And I thought he was phenomenal. Like I gave him his flowers on my show today on social media as well. And maybe Mitch Marner is a guy you look at against the Carolina Hurricanes tomorrow for like a point prop, shot prop. He's got to be just, oozing with confidence right now, I would say.
Do you think we'll ever see this again? McAvoy might be out for the year. Theodore, the owners are going to look at this and the GMs and say, this was great, but did it derail our chances at a Stanley Cup playing this kind of event? Do you think we see Four Nations again?
Mike, what I will tell you, and it's been discussed already, I think the plan is to have a World Cup every 2 years. So we see best on best hockey every 2 years. I think the big curiosity for me, though, is like there's been a lot of discussion around maybe doing the tournament in September. I don't even know if the players would sign off on that, but I think it's a fair point to bring up. Like that was my concern covering the Maple Leafs. It's like their three best players were in this tournament. And then, for example, the Washington Capitals, who could be primed to win the President's Trophy this season, they got their rest, right? They licked their wounds. They got Alex Ovechkin chasing history. And so like that's a really meaningful conversation to be had, I think, in the hockey world. But yeah, that's the plan. Every 2 years, we're going to get a World Cup, and then the 2 other years will be the Olympics. I'm excited, though. I think it was obviously an amazing tournament and a really cool experience.
I come away with this with one question unanswered, and I don't know if you can shed light on this, but how is Paul Maurice not part of the Canadian staff?
You're right. They're just so stacked, and maybe it's favoritism. I think it's always interesting during the course of a tournament too, where the media was going after John Cooper. Like you were going after John Cooper. That's my guy. And look, he just pulled all the right strings, even moving Marner up the lineup yesterday, having faith in Binnington. Like there's a reason why these guys are there, but I think you make an excellent point. Paul Maurice has done an incredible job, really finding his way with the Florida Panthers. I think the rub off on some of his former players as well. I watch Oliver Ekman-Larsson on a daily basis. Just it's very Paul Maurice. And you're right. At the end of the day, when there's an embarrassment of riches and the States is the same thing, somebody's going to be left out and undoubtedly not very happy about it.
Nick, about 45 seconds left. Numbers are out. It is a loaded schedule tomorrow. You're right. That Edmonton-Philadelphia game starts at 1 o'clock Eastern and 10 o'clock out here. But anything else on the card that you like so far?
To your point, I think just like riding the momentum, riding the wave. I think there's a couple of injury returns as well. Boone Jenner is a guy I would look at Columbus Blue Jackets. I think that was a team that direly needed a break, so maybe you back Columbus. I think any of those teams that are on the bubble that need meaningful games right now, I think now is the time you're going to get the value as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline. And it's a tough time in general to bet. You guys will see in the next couple of weeks, players are going to be plucked in and out of the lineup. Like even Carolina, I hate the value in the Canes because there's rumors that Mikko Rantanen could get traded again, if you can believe it, because they can't re-sign this guy. So there's a lot of moving parts this time of year when it comes to trades and betting in the NHL.
Nick, that was awesome. Thanks so much for the time. Good luck this weekend.
My pleasure, guys. Take care.
Thanks,
you
Nicky.
too. There you go. Nick Alberga. Follow him on X at The Golden Muzzy. Up next, In Pocket Plays. This is going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun to go over next year on VSiN.
He knows the quarterback was on coke if his girlfriend was knocked out.
These games are a burial, a blowout, a human lock. You can bet your unborn children's children on these games.
I was so good that whenever I bet, I could change the odds for every bookmaker in the country.
All right, here we are in pocket. 4 plays for the kids out there. I talked about this earlier on the G-Bank Best Bet. St. Mary's now plus 5.5 against Gonzaga. I'm using Richie Bachelari's power ranking on St. Mary's here. He's got to be 3 points off of this game now that it's up to 5.5. He's got Auburn 6 over St. Mary's on a neutral. Take 2 points for home court. That means Gonzaga would be laying 3.5. That means Auburn, Gonzaga on a neutral's 2.5.
Wow.
Nah, get out of here. All right, we'll take St. Mary's. I think this poor Illinois team, the sickness, the fatigue, they're struggling to begin with chemistry, and now they go to MSU. That's going to be a 100%. Well, I'm exaggerating. That's hyperbolic, but a 90%.
No,
that's all the
hyperbole.
Wall Street Dukies, right? That's why they have this game for all the New York Duke graduates to come, and that'll be a home court for them. Lay the whole 10.5 here. Alabama, Kentucky. They can't make numbers big enough on these games. With these Alabama games and these Auburn games, they fly the 100. You made an interesting point. I don't know if you ever found the number. Both teams over 100. I think I'd need like 6-1 to take that, but over 177.5. And then in the Prim, Ipswich, who's been surprisingly good defensively against some of the bigger clubs. Tottenham. You know where Tottenham's at in the table?
8th?
No.
12th?
Like, they were 15th. I think they moved up to 13th after their last win. Under 3, Ipswich and Tottenham early tomorrow morning in the Prim.
All right, very good. I wish you the best of luck. Losers last night. For me, 2 more. Same game parlay. Maxey turned into a blowout, so he didn't even play the fourth quarter, I don't think. Maxey over 33.5. 23 rebounds and assists. That did not get there. Derek White did. Had I split him up, White would have been a winner. I didn't. Plus 160 down the drain. Derek Jones over 7.5 points. No good. Loser. You can see if you're watching the show this month, 7-18-1, minus 4.6 units. That's bad. The week has been brutal to me. So I have no bets tonight. I told you earlier, I'm not joking around. I am putting myself on a temporary self-exclusion list for tonight. I'll give or take 18 hours. And the Michigan bet doesn't count because it's a hedge. I'm monetizing my ticket. But I loved A&M, but now the numbers move. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a really good thing. I'll stay away.
Want to know where the money is really going? Only VSiN gives you exclusive access to betting splits from Circa Sportsbook and DraftKings Sportsbook, 2 of the most respected names in the industry. Unlike other sources, our betting splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings, giving you insight into where the sharp action is landing. Circa is known for taking big bets from professional bettors, while DraftKings provides a broader market perspective. That means you're getting the real action, not just the public money, but the kind of wagers that move lines. See the percentage of bets versus percentage of handle on every game across every major sport. Helps make you smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN's exclusive betting splits for as little as, Mitch, $9.99 for your first month.
You can't beat that, Mike.
Crazy Bill 80. His prices won't be beat. Go to vsin.com/subscribe.
Great nickname.
Crazy Bill?
Crazy Bill 80. I like that.
Can I give you some? I think you lost your muscle memory when you were in the rain in San Diego on betting, when you went a week without it.
I apologize if you've been following me out there and making the same bets. My bad.
To Nick's point about the international hockey, alternating every 2 years with the Olympics would be a World Cup of hockey during this time of the year with the top 8 nations. So Olympics 2026, World Cup 2028, Olympics 2030, World Cup 2032, etc. Viewership numbers are in. Remember 4.4 million for the game last Saturday? How about this? 9.3 million viewers.
More than doubled it. Wow.
The highest viewership of any NHL game in its history.
In history. So that also rivals like a really good college football game. Good
Is
for
it?
the yeah. Oh yeah.
Or Caitlin Clark game.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding, but I mean she is 2-3 million on some of these games.
Didn't Iowa get more than that? Or no? Am I wrong?
When the tournament run, the final, I think the UConn game on that Friday night was unbelievable. They were all 2-5 to 3-5, 4 I think maybe in the championship game against South Carolina.
All right. Okay. So this is closing up shop here for the week on a high note. Haven't done this. Paulie normally does it, but we save it for win-lose. That's his baby, so we don't do win-lose when Paulie's gone. But this video is so good. I'll tweet it out as well at Mitch Moss Radio. This is from the account We Rate Dogs. Love this video. And we don't deserve them. They're so good. And as they tweeted out, this is Buster having the best day ever. Look at this dog. It's pouring outside. And he's having the time of his life in the pool at the same time. Oh, I love it. That is so cool. Buster. You guys have dogs?
I don't want to get into it.
Oh, boy. Sore spot, huh?
I had a dog. My mother's father, my grandfather, for their 5th year wedding anniversary, gave them a beagle because he said, obviously, you're not having kids. You've been married 5 years and no kids. So, but then 2 years later, they had me. Late in life, My dad was 37. My mom was 30. I guess that's not late anymore by today's standards.
Oh, no, it's not at all.
So this beagle was with me when I was a little kid and followed me everywhere I went. I've told stories. I have like 4 tweets and messages. Tell more Ronnie Palm stories. The dog sat at the table with us and ate human food. No dog food for my dad.
Food ever.
Snoopy was the dog's name.
That's how much your
beagle weighed
dad
94 pounds, Mitch. The belly drop.
Oh,
my father fed him as a member of the family. And then he was like 11 years old or whatever, and then it's a very bad story. This is the first heartbreak dog story. My dad said he just can't. We're just going to give him to this farmer that he knew, right, and put him on the farm. My dad, the next week comes home, he says, very bad news. I said, oh, Snoopy died. He said, he was kicked in the head by a cow. Killed. Now, that's a brutal beat. He goes to have a peaceful death on the farm.
That's horrible.
This is what you laugh at. None of the other joys of life. Now, fast forward.
I did not see that one coming.
I'm 12 years old. My father, for Christmas, gives me a dog. A dachshund.
Okay, yeah.
And I was a Cowboys fan, so he named him Silver Von Palm. What I was unaware of is my mother told him, don't get a dog. I don't want a dog in the house. After we got rid of Snoopy, no more dogs. She's not a dog fan.
Clearly.
Squirrel fan or a dog fan. But he went and bought me this dog. Christmas. Brought it on Christmas morning for me, right? January 10th, she made him return it. She said, the dog stays. I go. I'm leaving. It's over.
Oh.
So we had to take nice for me. I get the dog for 2 weeks and they returned the dog. Very traumatic stuff with dogs.
So that's it. You never had a dog since.
I think they're good for the kids because it would teach them responsibility if they had to take care of the dog.
Yeah.
Right?
We're at that stage right now with Sebastian, who turns 10 tomorrow, 10 months. So he's not quite at the gentle part of petting the dog.
Yeah.
So he's grabbing everything. And so, again, we're trying to baby-proof the whole house. He'll grab little Mickey's snout, and then Mickey doesn't know how to react. He tries to pull on, and then we're just like, buddy, no, you can't. It's be nice, pal. So that'll come at eventually or whatever. So, but it's quite the learning process now that we're 9 months into this on our own. Adopted when he was 5 weeks.
You showed me that video. You should have Paul put that up for.
We'll play it next week.
For Winsome. Have Paul put it in his famous segment with the kid laughing at
the
Cocoa
next
Mountain.
week.
That is a Winsome.
It's great. I mean, those moments where so he's sitting on my lap the other night. We're watching TV. We're playing some for the parents out there. You're gonna know it's Cocoa Melon, wildly popular. The Baby Shark stuff, So randomly, Bingo Was His Name-O comes on. I think the first time ever. He was almost falling off my lap laughing out loud. And 4 minutes in, I couldn't find my phone. I finally did. And I took a minute video of it. I'm no joke. I've watched this video 300 times because of the laughing. It gets me every single time. And then so when Bingo Was His Name-O would end, it would go into the next Cocoa Melon video. And he was just like, this sucks. I'm crying. It was so good. Now it's really, really bad. I would rewind to go back and watch Cocoa or Bingo again. Same thing. Uproarious laughter. I did it 3 or 4 times. Since that night, he is unamused by Bingo Was His Name-O. I guess it was a one-time deal.
They move on.
Yeah, they do.
Like my daughter that just turned 3. I mean, she loves Baby Shark. It's probably her favorite song. But now she's into this Bruno Mars, Rosé Apata. She's singing it. She got a little karaoke machine for her birthday. She's singing the lyrics of it with probably 80% of the words right. Meanwhile, you win the bet, Todd Wishnev.
Are you checking in?
I can't find what you said, but you do know I was 31 and 23 on the Megapod this year.
Huh? I told you.
I'm not questioning the janitor. I will not question.
No, absolutely not. That story?
Sorry.
No way.
Nope.
No way. So, okay, the bet is in.
You win, or you push. I won the JVT, recognized the beer bet, and you won. They would get to wish.
So now we're even? Is that right?
Yeah,
Are you going to be betting and watching more soccer tomorrow or college basketball?
Ooh, that's tough. You said Premier. I said more college basketball. It's a pick-up. Probably more soccer.
Probably more soccer. And more bets on soccer tomorrow.
Oh, definitely.
The live betting with the bets.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's hard to middle totals in college basketball. Much harder than in soccer. The game changes too quick. You can't get to the number. And you're behind 2 plays. You're at a big disadvantage in basketball, I feel.
That's the part when you're really paying attention to do this and you attack a game. It's so frustrating. A lot of times you're like, wait a second, how far am I behind the game right now? I have no idea.
Stay tuned. Tim Murray's Circa Friday Night College Basketball Challenge coming up.
Yes, it is.
Oh, and Matt Humans is part of it.
Humans is on it as well?
Yeah, he's got some small role in it.
All right, a lot of picks coming your way in college basketball for the weekend next. Good luck out there.